Right, so we are going to talk about complex patterns of inheritance and why some traits have large numbers of phenotypes. So for example, why height? Okay, you can be lots of different heights. There isn't just two different heights. You can have lots of different hair colors. There aren't two different hair colors. You can have lots of different eye colors. There aren't two different eye colors. So these are the complex patterns of inheritance in genetics. So the first one we're going to talk about is called incomplete dominance. So the incomplete dominance is when neither allele of a parent is completely dominant. That means the phenotype is heterozygous, the offspring is a mix of the parents. So if we have one parent that is red and one parent that is white, all of their offspring, if it is an incomplete dominant trait, is going to be pink. Okay, you see how they mixed colors? That is going to be pink. And not all traits exhibit this. Different traits exhibit different patterns of inheritance. So these snapdragons, that's what these flowers are called, when the red snapdragon mates with a white snapdragon, then we get an offspring of all pink snapdragons. And if we were to cross our pink snapdragons, we would get a couple pink ones, a red one, and a white one. And we could do a Punnett square and see why as well. Okay, so codominant alleles. So this is not the same thing as incomplete dominance where they kind of share. Okay, codominant alleles both equally show in the offspring. So when a black chicken is mated with a white chicken, you're going to get a black and white spotted chicken, okay, or speckled chicken. And if we do our Punnett square, here's our Punnett square right here, we cross the black one with the white one, and because they have both the black and the white alleles, they will turn out black and white spotted, and that is codominant. So notice they didn't turn out to be a gray chicken, even though that kind of looks gray. It actually is a black and white spotted chicken. Multiple alleles. So sometimes there are more than two alleles for a genetic trait. So for example, rabbits, okay, they can come in brown and gray and white with black and white. Okay, so there are 4 different coat colors for rabbits, and that's because of multiple alleles for genetic traits. So there are 4 different options instead of just 2. Okay, chromosome types. We talked about this a little bit when we did our Making Babies lab. Humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes. 22 pairs are homologous chromosomes, are called autosomes. So they just are your normal chromosomes. But that 23rd pair is called a sex chromosome. Okay, they're your sex chromosomes. And they are indicated with X's for females and an X and a Y for males. So every person has at least one X. Women have 2 X's and men have a YX. Okay? And that's what determines sex. Now sometimes there are traits that are linked to those sex chromosomes, so other genes other than just what makes you a boy or what makes you a girl on those chromosomes. And one of them is called color blindness. So if you're looking at this, and some of you may be able to easily tell what these numbers are, okay, excuse me, in each of these circles. Okay, there are numbers written in each of these. And if you can't tell if they all look the same, you may be colorblind. And color blindness is inherited or travels on a sex chromosome. It travels on the X chromosome. So when you get an X chromosome and you're a boy, okay, you only have one X chromosome. So the gene to actually tell the difference between these colors is not there. And so that's why color blindness shows up a lot more often in boys than it does in girls. Polygenetic inheritance, and this is the one that we, whenever we see a huge amount of variety of different colors of something, you can usually attribute it to polygenic inheritance. Polygenic inheritance is an inheritance pattern of a trait that is controlled by 2 or more genes. So there's not just a gene and there's 2 alleles for it. There's gene 1 with 2 alleles, and there's gene 2 with 2 alleles, and there's gene 3 with 2 alleles. Okay, and the combination of whatever alleles you get in each of those is what is going to create a skin color or a height. So this is an example with a height. Okay, so the father has 2 different ones here. Okay, there are 3 genes. They have 2 alleles for each gene. See, big A, big B, big C, little c. Mom is little a, big B, big C, little c, and this is how tall she is. But the children could be any combinations of these. So here you got the little a, you got the big B from dad, or a little b from dad, I should say, the big B from mom, and little c, little c. So in that, they ended up very short. But there's also this one where this one ended up very tall. Got a big A from dad, a little a from mom, two big B's, one from mom, one from dad, and two big C's, one from mom, one from dad, and ends up very tall by comparison to his siblings. So that's how you can get multiple different variations of a specific trait just through genes, is usually through polygenic inheritance. Now there are other factors that can affect a phenotype. Sometimes nutrition. Obviously, if you don't have very good nutrition, you're not going to grow as tall as you possibly could have. All the genes do is tell you how tall you should be. All the rest of the factors, the environmental factors you surround yourself with, will actually determine how tall you're going to be. So nutrition, light, so chemicals, that you're exposed to, infectious agents. Sometimes if you get a bacterial infection or fungal infection or parasites or viruses, they can influence how your genes are expressed. Sometimes some genes are muted, meaning they're cut out and they're not used because of viruses or bacteria, and sometimes they're enhanced, so you're going to end up being taller, or let's say your skin color might be more light, maybe lighter because of the viruses or the parasites or the bacteria. Okay, so these environmental factors, okay, can change your genes and kind of affect the phenotype we end up seeing. So genetic science is not a perfect science. There are definitely other factors that affect it. So I just want you to understand that. So yeah, that is complex patterns of inheritance. I hope that makes sense. Thank you.